welcome to Saving America with Dr. David Schein. Today is episode 2, I think, because we started with 0 and 1 and 2, and next week will be 3. Dr. Schein, David, is the author of The Decline of America, 100 Years of Leadership Failure. I just want to say a little plug about the book before we get started, David, because it's a great book for anyone who wants to do any research about presidents and how presidents have handled different crises or different other aspects of their time in office. And it makes great for a curriculum study for homeschool or for public schools or private schools. So if you're interested in this book, at the end, we'll tell you how you can get a copy of it. So David, we have 3 segments. Each week we're going to have the same 3 segments. The first one is In the News. Now, we're not going to be, it's going to be a long time before we're at a lack for something to talk about on In the News.
Taking what they're giving because I'm working for a living.
So today you're going to talk about the new vice president-elect, or how do you say that properly? What's the proper way to say that?
Well, they actually haven't had a convention yet, so she's actually, Joe Biden has said that she would be his VP candidate, and then once they have the election, then she would be the official Democratic VP candidate, along with Joe Biden, and it is a reflection of Joe Biden's commitment to have a black female as his running mate. And the press has been apoplectic about this, despite the fact that we have just had a black president for 8 years. We had a female candidate, not for VP, but for president in the 2016 election. And I remember the election where Geraldine Ferraro was the VP candidate along with another weak presidential candidate back, I think it was 1972, if I'm correct.
Wow, it's been a while. I didn't know it did that long.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the bottom line is Kamala Harris, it's fascinating because of the pummeling that the far left have done of the police departments and the defunding and all this. And in her acceptance speech in the last few days, she's even referred to repurposing the police department. And Kamala Harris has an interesting background to try and hide. She's had an interesting social background herself, apparently was involved with former mayor Willie Dixon. And she also, who was allegedly her mentor, but I'm not quite sure how that worked. But also, she ran for Senate in California on the basis that she was a law and order person, and she bragged about how successful she was at locking up criminals. So I find it rather humorous that she's now saying, oh, we need to repurpose the police department and all that. And so I'm going to talk some more about that later in this podcast, but I think that she is a reasonably safe choice. I think she is a stronger candidate than Elizabeth Warren, who I think is despite what anybody says, I think she's a pretty flaky individual based on what I've seen. And so there were a couple other people who, had some real skeletons in their closet, not that she doesn't, but it's, I think, a reasonably safe thing. I think it'll pick up a few votes for Joe Biden. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that Joe Biden is the presidential candidate, and he is at least as weak as some of the other presidential candidates that we have seen in the recent past. I'm a huge fan of Bob Dole. Bob Dole was basically a fill in the blank because they knew they weren't going to win the 1996 election, so the Republicans threw Bob Dole to the lions. And we've seen some other people roll by who were just kind of put in there to say, yeah, we ran a candidate, and gee, wasn't that tough, and kind of You could also say the same, though Mitt Romney, I think, had he taken a slightly different path, could have beaten Barack Obama in the 2012 election, but Mitt Romney wasn't a particularly strong candidate either. So we're seeing, again, some pretty badly flawed individuals, and so it'll be interesting to see what impact Ms. Harris has on the campaign.
So thank you for joining us today. Remember, get your copy. If you want to prepare for an election, then you need to get this book, because there's all kind of information, and you can see that each president, beginning with Woodrow Wilson and going through Barack Obama, it's the same questions for each one. So it's not like a different set of questions for each one of the presidents. So get your copy. If you'd like a copy, they're on Amazon, but if you would like to review for being a possible textbook, then if you'll put your name and information and the name of the school in the comments below this video, then we'll get in touch with you. So, and if you want an autographed copy, put your name in there, and we'll be glad to get David to sign a copy and send it to you. We'll let you know how much that would be. So we're not giving away free autographed copies, but we do have them. Next week, we're going to be covering one of your favorite topics, which is the national debt. And I know I've heard you talk about that before, so I know it is a topic. And also, while you were talking, I'm glancing over here at my computer at the headlines for today. And I would like you to talk next week also about this whole thing with the post office and the mail-in ballots or something like that. Can you plan to do that under one of the segments, either as a rumor, but it really is in the news a lot. I've seen it in the news a lot. So if we can add that to your agenda for next week, that would be wonderful.
Very happy to talk about the post office, and I am indeed concerned about it. Not as much as the national debt, but it's high on my list of concerns.
So thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week on Monday, 2 p.m. Central Time. So thank you, David. Thanks very much. Great discussions.